Okay, in the previous video on chapter 2, we came to this point where we derived the production possibility curve. It's there in figure 2.3. We had the production possibility curve in economics 2 to 4, so you should know everything about it. It's convex, and it shows the combinations, all the combinations of x and y that could be produced given a certain amount of capital and a certain number of laborers of a certain occupation. What we didn't have last time was that the production possibility curve comes from an Edgeworth box where we have capital and labor on the vertical and horizontal, and we show exactly how the prices of, and I haven't even mentioned that, the prices of capital and labor determines how much of it the producers of X and Y will employ to produce certain quantities of X and Y. But the result is the production possibility curve, and the slope of the curve is the marginal rate of product transformation. The marginal rate of product transformation, the slope. And the equilibrium condition, so that's the that's the production possibility curve. I've also colored it light blue because it's the same curve as the one in the Edgeworth box. It's the same curve. We just changed the dimensions of the curves of the graphs. So now we have good X and good Y on the axis and not capital and labor anymore. But the curves are exactly the same. So if the light blue curve in the Edgeworth box would change, then this curve would also change. Then we have a budget constraint. So producers also have, they are also subject to the same prices as consumers. So a producer sells his or her goods, X and Y, at a certain price in the market. And the prices are also given to, in a perfectly competitive world, the prices are given. They cannot determine it. They are given through competition to the producers. So the same prices that consumers pay are received by the producers. So the production system will be in equilibrium if the slope of the production possibility curve is the same as the slope of the ratio of the prices. So at F, the marginal rate of product transformation must be equal to the price ratio. So you can see where we are heading. So from the consumer's point of view, the marginal rates of substitution are equal to that price ratio Px over Py. And from the producer's point of view, the marginal rate of product transformation, that's the rate that you can change goods from X to Y. Let's say the producers want to go from point G, where they produce a lot of X and not so much of Y, to point F. Then they have to sacrifice X to get to Y. So in order to be able to produce more of any of the goods, they have to produce less of another. That's why the slope of the curve is negative. And the ratio at which they can change from one to another is called the marginal rate of product transformation. And in equilibrium, it's equal to the price ratio between X and Y. So the third condition, there are three conditions for Pareto optimality in the benchmark model. The third condition is whether allocative efficiency requires that producers and consumers achieve equilibrium simultaneously. So on the production side, the marginal rate of product transformation is equal to the price ratio, and from the consumer side, the marginal rate of substitution is also equal to the same price ratio, and this has to happen at the same time. So we could show all of this in one graph. So there's our production possibility curve, and let's say at equilibrium the total amount of X that is produced is X2, and the total amount of Y that is produced is Y2. Then we can draw a little exchange box. So this is like the first box that we had in figure 2.1, where the consumers now, one consumer starts at this origin and another consumer starts at that origin, and they have their indifference curves. In this case, they only had one indifference curve, so only the optimal point for the two, and where the final equilibrium is reached. Now, what is important is to see that the slopes of the marginal rate of product transformation and the marginal rate of substitution must be the same, namely they must both be equal to the price ratios. Now finally, how do we grow? So we have the production possibility curve. If there's some technological improvement or something happens and we can produce more, then you can see this is how we will show growth in this little model. And now if we move from, say, C0 to C1, then the consumers will have more between them to share and to exchange between each other. Both maybe become better off through growth, but all the conditions will still be the same. The ratio of the slopes of the marginal rate of substitution must still be equal to the slope of the production possibility curve, which is the marginal rate of product transformation. So for chapter 2, everything is important. You will see that there's many of the paragraphs that I didn't touch in these two videos, but everything is important. So work through the 2021 slides that were made by Mr. Scholes. You have to read the chapter and the summary. Try the self-test questions. Start contacting the teaching assistants. You will meet them during the first week in class, but they are available to you for questions and answers. So thank you very much for watching this video.